내년 제18차 샤카디타 한국대회 성공 개최를 위해 마련한 기획보도, 세계 속 붓다의 딸 5번째 주인공은 제클린 크레머입니다. 책 붓다의 맘의 저자를 최준호 기자가 영상으로 만났습니다.
네, 크레머 씨는 붓다맘의 저자로 알려져 있습니다. 먼저 어디에 거주하고 있고 어떤 일을 하고 계시는지 본인 소개를 간단히 부탁드립니다.
Like maybe 20 something years ago, I wrote a book called Buddha Mom. That was it was a kind of a combination of memoir about my experience of pregnancy and giving birth and early motherhood and the being a mother, and taking basic Buddhist principles and combining those two things and sharing how the Buddha's teachings really helped me navigate through all the challenges of motherhood in an incredibly useful way. And I live in Sonoma, California, which is north of San Francisco in the country. It's wine country. Lots of vineyards here, and we have those fires, which you've probably heard about here too. So my daughter is now has a daughter of her own who's 17 years old. So I'm a grandmother, and the Buddhist practice continues to be my refuge.
불교에는 어떻게 입문하게 되셨고 또 불교에 입문하면서 어떤 변화를 경험하셨나요?
I was introduced to Buddhism by my mother. My mother was an amazing woman. She was very open to all religions and ways of thinking. I was born into a Jewish family. We were both my mother and father were Jewish, but my mother didn't hold to any orthodoxy. So she steered me towards meditation when I was 16. And I started meditating, transcendental meditation, which was what was available then. And I also had heard Alan Watts recordings. Do you know Alan Watts? He's a Zen Buddhist, a British man who and I got the book when I was a teenager, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, Suzuki Roshi's book. And I loved it. And Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. But I didn't really learn the basics of Buddhism until in my early 20s. I went on retreat with a Buddhist nun called Anagarika Dhammadina. My mother introduced me to her too. She was in British Columbia, and it was my first retreat. It was a week-long retreat. It was a Theravada Vipassana retreat, and very intense and strong and powerful growth came from that. And that was it. I was hooked. I was completely hooked. So that was my introduction to Buddhism. And since then, I had a good base in Theravada, which was a great way to start in some ways, because you really learn the basics, the 3 baskets and the whole basics of Buddhism. You learn very well there.
붓다맘은 2007년에 한국에서 엄마들을 위하여란 제목으로 번역 출판됐습니다. 책을 쓰시게 된 계기와 책을 통해서 어떤 메시지를 전하고 싶으셨나요?
In a nutshell, the message is that Buddhist practices and teachings and wisdom are very helpful to anybody who's embarking on the path of being a mother. And mothering is a great place to practice Buddhism. And that's kind of a little different than the thought that I was originally a nun. And there are definitely advantages to being a monk or a nun, but there's advantages to being a householder and a mother for the practice as well. It's a different challenges when you're a householder, father or mother. You know, stuff like unconditional love, you get this insight into it when you have a child that I don't know if I would have gotten it any other way. Maybe I would have, I don't know, but a lot of insight into selfless service, being a mother. So I found that it goes both ways. Buddhism informs my mothering, and my mothering informs my Buddhist practice.
크레머 씨께서 샤카디타에 참여하시면서 혹시 기억에 남는 활동이 있으셨나요?
It's thrilling. It's just thrilling because you have all these very women dedicated practitioners from all over the world and coming together to support each other. It's a beautiful thing to see, and each in their own style and way, and there's a lot of respect for one another. I think it's a wonderful thing that they put this together and that it happens every other year.
코로나19 팬데믹을 지나면서 우리가 배워야 할 지혜는 어떤 게 있을까요?
You know, I'm writing a piece on that right now for, I think it's called Buddhist Door magazine. The thing is that we can't control stuff like that. There would be a pandemic that's not within our control, but the practices and teachings really have helped me through the quarantine and having to, it's like being on a retreat to be quarantined. And so it's an opportunity to look within deeply and to learn to connect with people in another way. At the very beginning of the retreat, I started offering meditation online for free, morning and evening. And I kept that through the whole quarantine. And it was wonderful. We really felt connected. And now that there's Zoom, there's really an opportunity for meditation teachers to give very authentic, do very authentic work with their students. And so that was wonderful. And I think that all my time having been going on retreats and meditating, it taught me how to settle down into the way things are. And you can't control this, but you can decide to use it for your own benefit. And it's been very helpful for me.
내년에 한국에서 제18차 샤카디타 대회가 열립니다. 혹시 어떤 기대감을 갖고 계신가요?
I was very impressed with the Korean nuns monks or nuns, I don't know how you call it, with women that I met both at Sakyadita and at the Outstanding Women for Buddhism Award ceremonies in Bangkok. I met a number of Korean Buddhist nuns and really impressed with their beauty and strength, the strength. Yeah. So I'm all in for learning from them.
인터뷰 감사합니다, 선생님.